elections updates. Democratic challenger Joe Biden has been reported on several mainstream media channels as the president-elect to become the 46th president of the United States. But incumbent Republican leader Donald Trump shows no sign of conceding defeat, repeating threats that he would go to court with valid and legitimate legal challenges over the election. The Democrat and former Vice President to Barack Obama has been reported by the mainstream media as having so far amassed 279 electoral college votes in the 2020 election, taking him over the 270 threshold for victory. That is compared to Trump's reported total of 214 electoral college votes thus far. According to several of the mainstream media reports, victory for Biden came after clinching Pennsylvania and Nevada, where vote counts continued for days after election night failed to deliver a clear winner. The election witnessed the biggest voter turnout since 1968, with over 148 million votes tallied. And an Associated Press analysis underscored that some of the greatest turnout increases occurred in states that liberalized their mail voting rule. Mr. Trump, however, is not convinced about the legitimacy of the election results pertaining to some of the swing states, such as Pennsylvania and Arizona. He has alleged to several instances of voter fraud and has taken legal action despite mainstream news outlets calling the election in Mr. Biden's favor. Mr. Trump has been making several tweets since November 3, 2020, concerning his suspicion that the Democrat Party may have stolen the elections. Here are some of them. 3rd November 2020, we are looking really good all over the country. Thank you. 4th November 2020, I'll be making a statement tonight. A big win. 4th November 2020, how come every time they count mail-in ballot dumps, they are so devastating in their percentage and power of distraction? 4th November 2020, they are finding Biden votes all over the place in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. So bad for our country. 4th November 2020, they are working hard to make up 500,000 votes advantage in Pennsylvania disappear ASAP, likewise Michigan and others. 4th November 2020. Wow, it looks like Michigan has now found the ballot necessary to keep a wonderful young man, John James, out of the US Senate. What a terrible thing is happening. 4th November 2020, we are winning Pennsylvania big, but the PA Secretary of State just announced that there are millions of ballots left to be counted. 4th November 2020, there was a large number of secretly dumped ballots, as has been widely reported. 5th November 2020, stop the count. 5th November 2020, any votes that came in after election day will not be counted. 5th November 2020, all of the recent Biden claimed states will be legally challenged by us for voter fraud and state election fraud. Plenty of proof just came out of the media We will win. America first. 5th November 2020. Stop the fraud. 6th November 2020. Joe Biden should not wrongfully claim the office of the president. I could make that claim also. Legal proceedings are just now beginning. 7th November 2020. I won this election by a lot. The Tremmbit online TV sought for the view of some experts. Political economist, the polymath Godfrey Asamoah was interviewed, and here are his thoughts on the issue.
What do you envisage will happen in America and around the world if the U.S. Supreme Court's rulings overturns the election results in Trump's favor?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. I think that this man called Donald J. Trump is one man who has stirred up a lot of controversy right from the time that he declared his intentions of becoming the president of the United States. Earlier on, within his own Republican Party, and even till date, there has been a lot of oppositions against him. Some people think that he's a tyrant, he's an autocratic leader. Today you see that in the literature they've coined a word to describe his kind of leadership style. They call it Trumpism. We haven't yet defined it academically, but if I understand the narrative, I think when they say Trumpism, they are referring to a kind of ideology and governance philosophy perpetrated by Donald Trump, by which he tries to subjugate, control, manipulate, oppress, and bring down anybody who is opposed to his regime and his philosophy. Of course, many people within the democratic dispensation would not like this because they think that leadership styles like autocracy, totalitarianism, etc., are not acceptable within a democracy. Well, but the point is that if Trump wins, one would expect that because naturally many people actually hate him and disdain his leadership style, I think that there might be some form of riots or temporal instability in America if the Supreme Court's rulings maybe overturns the results for Trump to become president, because I foresee that the members within the Democrat Party are not probably going to take that news lightly, and they might probably cause some mayhem or commotion across various states in America for a while. And it will be expected that if they start doing that, Trump might probably also use the law enforcement agencies, maybe like the police, etc., to try to bring them down. And that, I mean, we are just hoping that that kind of drama might not escalate into, something that will actually destabilize the whole country of America. But as it is right now, it is clear that Trump seems to have a lot of enemies, even in America. But I think he also has, massive support, because the data right now shows that he was able to actually amass about 70 million, votes, which per the report that we have, that is actually unprecedented as far as America's history is concerned. It means that it is actually the highest recorded vote for a certain president in America. Now, if that statistic is true, then it means that contrary to what the mainstream has been projecting, that Trump is becoming unpopular and people don't like him, it means that people still voted massively for him. If the results we have with regards to the Senate and the Congress are also true and valid, then it means that the Republican Party, and for that matter Trump, still maintained their position in the Senate, and matter of fact even won other seats from the Democrat opposition party to their side. That may be a very strong proof that Trump is not probably as unpopular as the mainstream media would have us to believe. It means that Trump still has a lot of massive following, and people are willing to push him and support him. Right now, the Republican Party is entirely behind him. We have seen some of the Republican supporters already demonstrating in town and going about saying that Trump has won, and if they don't see that happen on the ground, they are not going to take things lightly. So it is possible that if the Supreme Court's ruling overturns the results in Trump's favor, we may also see some, traces of riots, and maybe some kind of violence, probably even an insurrections, probably coming out of the camp of the Republicans. I mean, the massive support that Trump has may cause some temporal instability in America. We are hoping that this will not happen and will not get out of hand, because if that happens, it's really not going to augur well for America and the rest of the world. So I think that is what I would say concerning Trump.
The U.S. Senate committee, however, continues to investigate into the Hillary Clinton-Donald Trump issues bordering on the alleged Russian conspiracy prior to the 2016 elections. The former Deputy FBI Director, Andrew McCabe, has been testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee as part of the oversight of the Crossfire Hurricane investigation. Meanwhile, the U.S. Attorney General, Bill Barr, has authorized investigation into the purported voting irregularities. Many Democrat experts are nevertheless unhappy about the announcements of Bill Barr, as they claim that the electoral fraud claims of Donald Trump and the Republican Party are unsubstantiated. But the truth of the matter will unfold as we get more evidences being exposed in the courts in the upcoming days. We will bring you later developments on these issues from the court proceedings that are set to ensue very precipitously. That's all we have for you today. I'm Abigail Aifa, Tremmbit Online TV, Transitory News.